She took a break to find herself slept with other men for 6 months, came back begging. I said, hello everyone. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now let's begin the video. Using a throwaway for obvious reasons with certain specifics modified to preserve anonymity. I took some time off to find myself, slept around with different guys for 6 months, and then came crawling back, begging. I told her no. What happened next left her speechless and finally gave her the exact lesson she deserved. I need to get this off my chest because holding it all in is driving me crazy. 5 years, that's how long I, a 29-year-old guy, invested in building a life with someone who threw all of it away chasing some stupid self-discovery journey. Her name's Jessica, she's 27, and until 6 months ago, I truly believed she was the one. We met when I was 24, right after I got promoted to assistant manager at a tech startup, while she was just finishing up nursing school and working brutal shifts at Denver General. I remember thinking she was way out of my league, a stunning, compassionate woman who saved lives while I just managed paperwork and spreadsheets. It's crazy how things shifted. By the time everything fell apart, I was earning around $95, $0 as an office manager, leading over 20 people, while she was making about $72, $0, constantly venting about burnout from the emergency room. Money was never a big issue between us. Most bills were on me so she could save up. I wanted us to grow something together. 3 weeks ago, she came home from a particularly rough shift. Someone had died in the ER and she was visibly shaken. I held her while she cried, cooked her favorite meal, drew her a bath. Standard stuff I'd done 100 times before, but this time something was off. She kept looking at me like she'd never seen me before. After her third glass of wine, she finally said, "I need to talk to you about something." She looked like she'd known for a while but just now decided to say it. My gut sensed it before my brain did. You know that chilling feeling when the room's temperature drops 10 degrees, when your body goes into fight or flight mode but you're just sitting on your couch. I need a break. Those 3 words hit me harder than any punch I'd ever taken. I asked her what she meant. Were we breaking up? Was there someone else? Did I do something wrong? She said, "It's not you," which I wanted to laugh at because of how it sounded. Then she confessed, "I just don't know who I am anymore. Between work, us, everything, I've lost myself." She said she needed time to figure out who Jessica really was without being anyone's girlfriend or nurse. The suitcase by the door was my first clue that this wasn't a discussion, it was a done deal. She'd already made up her mind, packed her stuff, and decided I wasn't part of her new journey. I didn't beg, I couldn't, not with my pride, but I asked practical questions. How long? Where will you stay? What about the lease? What about us? She kept repeating, "I just need time, maybe 6 months. I'll stay with my friend from nursing school in Aurora." She insisted it wasn't about anyone else, just her doing this for herself. That night she left with 2 suitcases and 5 years of my life. She left me in our 2-bedroom apartment in Capitol Hill, surrounded by her stuff. She didn't bother to pack her scrubs during laundry, her mug in the sink, her hair ties scattered everywhere. I'm not a weak man. I run a whole department, make tough calls daily, fire people if I have to. But that first night alone, I sat on our bed and felt something inside me break. Not my heart, that's too sentimental, but something deeper. Like when the operating system of your life crashes and you realize there's no backup. The next morning, I did what I always do, shoved everything aside and went straight to work. I showed up early, stayed late, threw myself into projects. My team probably wondered why their boss suddenly cared about every little detail, but nobody questioned the guy signing their reviews. It's been 3 weeks, and every night I come home to an apartment that feels like a museum of our relationship. 3 weeks of explaining to mutual friends that she's just taking time for herself. 3 weeks of obsessively checking her Instagram like some junkie. That's where things get interesting. Jessica's social media used to be filled with pictures of her in scrubs, exhausted selfies after shifts, hikes in Rocky Mountain National Park, dinner dates, usual couple stuff. But something changed about a week after she left. First, it was fitness photos, maybe she's working out to cope. Then the party photos started. Dresses I'd never seen at clubs we'd never been to. dancing with unfamiliar guys. Still, I thought, okay, she's exploring, finding herself, whatever that really means. But then last night I saw a post that made me write all this down. Jessica in a bikini I know I didn't buy her, on a beach in Miami with some guy's arm around her waist. Caption: sometimes you have to lose yourself to find yourself. Her nurse friends were commenting, all supportive. Yeah, queen. Live your best life. You deserve this. But what exactly does she deserve? A vacation she couldn't even afford when we were together. The bikini, more expensive than she used to spend on groceries, had a bottle of champagne in the background. I'm not stupid. I know what finding yourself really means now. She wanted to cheat without the guilt. She wanted to live out some fantasy gassed up on social media. Free from the boring boyfriend who actually cared about their future. My friends keep telling me to block her, move on, focus on myself. And I am. Crushed a major project presentation yesterday, got hints at a promotion, started hitting the gym at 5 a.m. and even cleared out her side of the closet to donate her stuff. But what's really eating me is this: she's coming back. They always do. When the money runs out, when the new guys stop calling, when she finally realizes that finding herself just means making idiotic choices, she'll show up at my door. When that happens, I need to be ready, not to take her back, no way, but to show her what she threw away, to remind her of what could have been if she hadn't tossed 5 years of love, stability, and growth aside. I'm not a vengeful guy by nature. I build teams, solve problems, create solutions. But there's a part of me, growing stronger every day, that wants her to see what she's lost, to realize that some breaks can't be fixed, that some journeys are dead ends. For now, I'm focusing on me. But I'm also watching, screenshotting, documenting everything. When she inevitably collapses and shows up again, I want proof she was living her fantasy, because she's going to lose everything in the process. 6 months later, I posted an update from Denver. Holy shit, the support from my last post was overwhelming. People asked for an update, so buckle up, because the last 3 months have been a living nightmare of watching her self-destruct. Jessica, she said she was finding herself. Well, her version is a 27-year-old woman with the decision-making skills of someone drunk in their first week of college, spending like she just hit the jackpot. Let me break down these months for you. Month 1, exploration mode. She moved from Aurora to a swanky studio in Lodi that I know costs at least $1, $200 a month. Started posting gym selfies from a fancy 24/7 gym downtown, showing off a wardrobe that would make a real housewife jealous. She took a Vegas trip with her friends, translation, nurses escaping their responsibilities. Month 2, living her best life. Miami trip, just like I said, turned into a full-blown week-long party based on her stories. Scottsdale for some wellness retreat that looked more like a pool party with Instagram models. She shared cryptic quotes about growth and self-worth. She even bought a new iPhone, MacBook, everything like she's trying to reinvent herself. Month 3, the cracks show. The selfies stopped. Same few guys appeared repeatedly in her stories, going from fancy restaurants to bottle service at trashy clubs. Then last week, she posted a video crying about how exhausted her journey was. Here's the thing. I knew how much she'd saved. About $15, $0, which we'd planned for emergencies. Based on my calculations, she'd blown through at least $25, $0 in just 3 months. No way that's all her spending. Unless those random guys are footing the bill. Meanwhile, I built my empire. Got that promotion I mentioned, hit $115, $0, moved into a sleek loft in Reno, bought my dream S5 and started casually dating again. Nothing serious. I want to remind myself that women like her don't need to destroy relationships to find themselves. My Instagram is just a highlight of stability. New car, new place, weekend trips, dinner parties, nothing fake, just real success. And that's when the messages started. First, her friends. They'd send, "Hey, I hear you got promoted, congrats." Trying to test the waters, see if I was still hung up. Then came the accidental text, "Sorry," meant for someone else, but the timing told another story. Every week around 2 a.m. they kept coming until last week she made a huge mistake. Nurses have to keep standards, integrity, professionalism. but she was calling in sick across states, posting proof on social media which her supervisor followed. She called me crying, actual crying, not just messages, saying she might lose her job over attendance issues. I asked her why she was calling me. Remember, we're on a break. I'm not her man anymore. She said she didn't know who else to turn to. I told her to be honest with HR and take responsibility, but I'd already heard through the grapevine. Her reputation was burning. No-shows, coming in hungover, distracted. The sincere nurse who genuinely cared was gone, replaced by someone more interested in her next trip than saving lives. She's behind on rent, two months overdue, losing the financial stability she threw away chasing her big self-discovery. Meanwhile, I was thriving. My team closed a huge deal, my bonus looked like a lottery payout, and I moved into a new life. Met a lawyer named, she owns her condo, drives a Tesla she paid for herself, and thinks taking a break from commitment is childish. And here's what's wild. I kept every post, every story, every tagged photo of her making out with different guys, proof she's spiraling. Not because I'm bitter, maybe a little, but because I knew this day was coming. When she's down and out, she'll come crawling back. When she does, she'll find out you can't unburn a bridge. Some are gone for good. When she shows up again, she'll find out the harsh truth. Some bridges, once burned, just leave you stranded on your own island. So stay tuned. The ending's coming and it's going to be epic. 6 weeks later, I posted a follow-up from Denver. Holy shit, the chickens have come home to roost. She showed up not at my door this time, but right at my office. Picture this. Tuesday, 2 p.m., right in the middle of a high-stakes meeting with the CEO and investors. We're talking big contracts, expansion, that kind of stuff that can make or break careers. My assistant knocks, something she never does unless it's urgent. She says, "Jessica's in the lobby." She says it's urgent. The CEO, who's aware of my story because we've shared drinks, just raises an eyebrow. I tell him I'll be right out. Jessica looked rough, no overnight homeless kind, but her eyes red from days of crying and a definite lack of makeup. Her designer clothes were replaced with yoga pants and my hoodie. The confident girl from Instagram was replaced with someone who looked like life had run her over. She whispers, "We need to talk," and I respond, "Then talk," glancing at my watch. "You've got 4 minutes." She then broke down in full, ugly crying right there in the lobby. The security started to move closer, but I waved him off. Let everyone see it, the consequences of gambling with someone's heart and losing. She told me she lost her job over attendance issues, got evicted, maxed out her cards, her Miami guy married someone else, and the Scottsdale one only wanted her around for bottles. She kept repeating, "I fucked up. I just wanted to feel alive again." Her hospital routine was suffocating her. She was drowning, so she jumped ship. Then she dropped her real card, said she knew I'd been promoted, moved into a new place, and now she was different. But the only thing different was her bank account. I looked at her, the woman I once planned to marry, who I supported through nursing school and comforted through every rough shift, and felt nothing. Not anger, not sadness, just the cold realization that I was worth more. I told her loudly enough for everyone to hear, "Jessica, you didn't lose me, you threw me away. You packed your bags, walked out, and spent 6 months with anyone who'd buy you a drink. You claimed I was controlling, boring, holding you back. You posted about finding yourself, but you were just chasing new DK. And now when the money's gone and the party's over, you want to come back." I told her to be honest. She tried to interrupt, but I kept going. "I found someone who doesn't need to destroy years of love to figure out who she is. Someone who thinks stability isn't boring. Someone building a life, not burning through savings for likes and views." She begged, "Please, I have nowhere else to go." That's when I snapped. "Maybe you should thought of that before you left, the one person who cared." I turned to walk away but paused just to twist the knife a little. "Oh, and Jessica, next time you want to find yourself, try looking somewhere other than between another guy's sheets." Security removed her as I went back to my meeting, which, by the way, I closed successfully. The CEO later told me I handled it with total class, said it showed leadership. But I'm not finished, because Jessica made a huge mistake. She forgot I'm not just good with spreadsheets. I'm a strategist. All those screenshots I kept of her nights out, Her tagged photos with random men, her stories about how I abandoned her, they all came back into play when she started spinning a different story. She posted lies about how I turned my back on her in her hour of need, how I was heartless for not helping her, so I set the record straight. I made a public Facebook post, tagged her, tagged our mutual friends. Because you don't get to erase history. You left. You chose party life over us. You chased fleeting validation instead of real connection. I chose moving on, because the cold truth is, your choices come with consequences. Wish her luck on her journey of self-discovery. I hope she finds someone worth loving someday. I posted a collection of her recent posts, beach photos with strangers, club clips, captions about living her best life, all while she was supposed to be working. Her friends started asking questions, her family, fed lies, began wondering. People who enabled her suddenly silent. Her social media life crumbled and her life did too. Her sister messaged me privately, apologizing. We had no idea you were good to her. Her father, a traditional Filipino guy, was furious, cut her off, saying she'd shamed the family. And remember the married guy from Miami? His wife saw my post, connected the dots, and filed for divorce, nomming Jessica in the proceedings. Turns out there are real consequences for messing around with married men. Last I heard, she moved back to her parents' place in Colorado Springs. No job, no savings, no relationship. Just memories on social media and the realization that she traded a man who would given her everything for a few months of partying that cost her everything. And me, I'm thriving. I've got a lawyer I'm dating, her names. We're planning a trip to Bali. My career is on fire. Life's good when you know your worth and refuse to settle for less. Jessica wanted to find herself. Well, congratulations. She's found herself all alone, serving drinks at the very life she abandoned. The final update, posted about 2 months later, is simple. This is the end of my story, the one that started with heartbreak and now ends with some poetic justice that would make Shakespeare jealous. After my last post, she vanished from social media. Mutual friends said she was focusing on her healing and trying to get her life together. I didn't care. I was too busy living my best life, closing deals, getting raises, and making it all official with. Then 3 weeks ago, I got a message from an unknown number. It was her mom. She apologized, saying she finally believed the lies Jessica told. She was grateful I was good to her. I didn't reply. Honestly, what was there to say? But Jessica wasn't done. Last week, she sent an email to my work address, subject, "You were right." It was a long, rambling message filled with regret and self-pity, claiming she started therapy with what money, and realizing her commitment issues stemmed from childhood. She finally admitted she'd thrown away her best chance at happiness, basically throwing blame everywhere but herself. She wasn't asking me to forgive her, she just wanted me to know she understood what she lost. I deleted, archived, and kept moving. Because again, the world's small, her epic failure became a cautionary tale. Nurses at Denver Health now say, pulling a Jessica when someone makes a catastrophic decision. She couldn't get hired anywhere, her license under review, and her legal issues kept piling up. Meanwhile, and I attended a fancy charity gala, black tie, Denver Art Museum, all that. I was dressed sharp, her in a designer dress that cost more than Jessica's rent. Sitting with business leaders, it hit me. I was living the life Jessica threw away. There she was, working as catering staff at the event in a polyester uniform. Our eyes met across the room. She stood there serving while I enjoyed success, making deals that shaped my future, and my CEO introducing our latest acquisition. She had to stand there as kissed me as I told the table about our upcoming growth. Her hands trembled, she bit her lip when laughed. I could see it, the full realization of what she lost. After dinner, I excused myself to the restroom. She was waiting, just standing there, not in a creepy way but hopping for this moment. "You look good," she said softly. "Happy," I replied. "I am is everything I want." I looked her in the eyes. She's smart, beautiful. Then I told her, "I understand it now. You lost me because you weren't content with stability. You wanted excitement, validation, to feel alive. Well, you got it. How'd that work out?" She couldn't answer, just cried silently as life moved on behind the scenes. I left her standing there, went back to my table, and thought about my future with built on respect, confidence, and real love. And here's the last thing she doesn't know. The same catering company she's working with now is the one I've used for all our corporate events, one I personally oversaw. That means she'll be serving drinks and appetizers at every party, every client dinner, every event that celebrates my success. She'll have to watch the life she left behind unfold right in front of her, serving champagne to the man she thought was too boring. I call it poetic justice, because she wanted to find herself, and she did. She found herself serving drinks to the life she abandoned. As for me, I'm done with this chapter, done with her. The anger, the revenge, it's all fading, the best revenge, living well, and trust me, I am. To every guy out there who's been told he's too boring, too stable, too predictable, forget that noise. You're not too anything. The right woman will see your strength, your reliability, and your stability as true assets. Don't let anyone convince you that building a future isn't exciting. Don't let them make you believe loving deeply is worth less than sleeping around. Never take back someone who only left because they thought the grass was greener. That grass was just spray paint. I'm marrying next year. We're buying a house in Cherry Hills and starting a family, building the future I always wanted. Vanessa. She'll probably be serving champagne at our engagement party. I'll tip her well. She taught me the most valuable lesson of all. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Peace out, brothers. This king has found his queen, and the woman who was lost trying to find herself. She's still wandering, serving appetizers to the life she abandoned. Thanks for sticking around till the end. If you like our stories, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.